It's great to be here on Maundy Thursday, one of the really important days for Christians in Holy Week. We remember three things, really. We remember Jesus eating with his disciples, but before he eats with them, he actually does something very strange. He takes a towel and a bucket of water, or presumably a pitcher of water, and he washes their feet as a servant would have done, but instead of letting the servant do it, he does it. He washes their feet, and then he says, "Just as I have done that, so you must also serve each other, love each other." We then also remember him eating bread and wine with them and giving that food a new significance, and so we remember communion from that. And the evening is quite a tricky evening for them because, looking at it now, we can see that it is, because actually Judas is there eating with them, and we know when we're reading the story that Judas is going to go out and he's going to actually betray Jesus. He's going to lead him to the leaders who are actually going to execute Jesus. So it's a night with quite a lot of tension, wonderful love, and a surprising act as well. I'm pleased to be here. I'm a priest in the Diocese of Ely. My name's Ruth, and I'm pleased to be here with Chris and with Natalie to talk to you about Maundy Thursday today. So great to be here with you. It'd be really interesting to hear a bit from you about Holy Week and Lent and the sort of things you think about when we talk about those things.
I mean, you made a strong point that it's all about how we remember Jesus taking up the slave's role, which is not something you would have expected him to do, you would have expected his followers to do, but it shows that he really cares about them, and he shows that you can do this to anyone, no matter who they are, what they do.
Yeah, so that kind of slightly strange thing that he did, that's really struck you. And what sort of things would you think that we then could do that would be like that?
Well, I've recently been meeting at church every fortnight to just to share a dinner with them, and what we've talked about is the Christians persecuted in North Korea.
Okay.
And about Open Doors, and we've given money to Open Doors just to try and help them out in the way they're going at the moment in helping people out there.
And have you heard stories about the Christians and what's happening?
We've heard stories from all over the world, from Syria to Iraq and to North Korea. It's quite shocking.
It's kind of touched your heart to help. Yeah. So I mean, there's lots in Holy Week, isn't there, that's quite kind of striking that we really remember about the stories of what happened. For me, I think that the washing of the feet is such a strange thing to do, and I know sometimes we actually do that. We wash feet. I think in my church this year we're going to be washing feet, and that's not something we normally do, so that sticks in my mind. Do you have things that happen in Holy Week in the story that really stick out for you?
Yeah, the fact that Jesus' disciple Judas portrayed Jesus, and Jesus still forgave him, and that's kind of an example of what we should do in our lives, even if it's like a really harsh act like that, because he did it for money, but Jesus still forgave him.
Yes, that forgiving business is not easy, is it?
No, not really. But
yeah. Amazing. And for you, Chris?
I mean, the biggest one for me, which really, I have to admit, is absolutely astounding what he did, was when he was crucified on Good Friday, when he was brought up on the cross. The robber next to him asked him, as he was being crucified, he asked him, "Remember me when we go to heaven?" And Jesus replied to him, "Today you will be with me in paradise," which it shows that Jesus can forgive people no matter what they've done, and that there's always a space for them in his house.
So for both of you, in fact, it's actually this forgiveness that Jesus shows, and when people do these grim things, that he's still open to do that. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So then, a final question for this Maundy Thursday, probably the most important question. Which is your favourite hot cross buns or Easter eggs?
Oh, I think Easter eggs are mine.
Yeah, Easter eggs.
Yeah. I know you're both going to have Easter eggs, you reckon? This year?
Hopefully.
No, aside from having lots of chocolate, is there anything else that you think about when you have an Easter egg?
I mean, my version of which I look at Easter eggs is that it's like an egg that when it opens, a new life comes out.
Okay. Right, cool. And is that the same for you?
No, well, I kind of look at it as like the egg being the tomb that Jesus was in, and when you like open the egg, it's like Jesus coming out.
Wow.
And it's like,
So two different things, but about life, and well, I hope you enjoyed them anyway.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we've been thinking about Maundy Thursday, the eating of bread and wine together, the washing of feet, and the betrayal of Judas. And I hope whatever you think about this Holy Week, that if the story has touched you, that you'll be able to have time to reflect and to maybe to respond and to live Holy Week well.